Welcome to the Richard Stewart Show. My name is Richard Stewart. I'm a former national team player for the Canadian national team who won a silver medal for Canada in the 91 games in Sheffield, England. I also played at St. Joseph's University NCAA Division I in the Atlantic 10 Conference.
Stewart again down the lane, no foul, they let him have it. Richard has 19.
Currently, I own Advanced Basketball Canada, a program that teaches kids how to play basketball from the fundamentals to the more advanced. Two of the notable players that I've trained are Dylan Brooks, who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies.
And Brooks will go and jam it with the right hand off the setup by Moran.
And Ignas Brazdeikis,
Brazdeikis to steal, some contact, and we play on. Brazdeikis,
who plays for the New York Knicks. I also train ladies, and the ladies that are in university and have played in Europe as well. So I have a lot of ladies who have played, who have trained, and are playing basketball. Welcome to the Richard Stewart Show. My name is Richard Stewart. On today's program, we're going to have a young man who declared for the NBA draft and his father. Both Philly guys, both with history of basketball in the Philadelphia area and pedigree. I mean, his grandfather was a great player and coach, and I just want to bring them on the program so you can see and hear them talk about basketball from their perspective and what it means to declare for the NBA draft. On the line, we have a special player. A young man who just declared for the NBA draft. His name is Ryan Daly. Dad is Bryan Daly, grandson of Jim Boyle, Tess Boyle, his mom. Great people. You guys know about this program a little bit. Know that I went to St. Joseph's University, and Jim Boyle is the one that brought me from Toronto to play for St. Joseph's University. Ryan's dad and I were teammates. He came a year after my sophomore year. Brian was a freshman and a Catholic League star, and came in and played with me at St. Joe's. Really good people, and I just happy to have Ryan on. Hey, Ryan, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Richard? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, cool, man, cool. Hey, I'm talking about your dad a while ago, but what do you know of your dad's playing days? Did you hear anything?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I heard a lot, obviously. Catholic League MVP, Bonner's a big deal to him. All of his Bonner friends just tell me how good he was. I know he had the record for most points in 2 Collegiate games, I think it was, or something like that. I know he was a great player, and he was someone I definitely idolized when I was growing up, just based on his accolades and how he ended up at St. Joe's on a full ride. It was something that I really wanted to do, and I was lucky to be able to do that, and he definitely helped me out with his abilities.
That's great to hear, Ryan. I'm glad that you know a little bit of the history of the game. And living in Philly, people in Toronto pretty much don't know that Philly is the mecca of basketball. It ain't New York. New York people can get out of here. Philly is the mecca of basketball. And so everyone in Philly knows the history of basketball. So I'm glad you know a little bit. Tell me, what made you love the game? How was that? How did that come about?
I started loving the game from a young age. Obviously, I've always been competitive. I fell in love with football and basketball, but I think my dad's influence and my grandfather's Bo's influence, along with my cousins and my mom, everyone just kind of loved basketball. I loved it too. Ever since a young age, I would go to college games, high school games, any sort of games I could, and I just slowly fell in love with it. And since then, I've been still in love with it more and more every day. So you came from a basketball family, man. Your mom, man, love her to death. Tracy, love her to death. Just a great family, bro. I'm telling you, you come from good stock, man. Those people took care of me as a they treated me like family when I came from up here. You know what I mean? And they were truthful to me. And your grandma, your mom, they're just great people, man. I mean, they took care of me. So I'm just happy that you're in a family that loves the game and of good human beings as well. Hey, what was your major at St. Joe's, by the way? I was a communications major and an English minor.
Communications major. That's why you're doing so well right now. Good job. Hey, you never know. You might be taking my job on there and get on ESPN or something. So tell me, how was your college career? How do you sum up your college career? How was that at St. Joe's and in Atlantic 10?
Yeah, obviously, I came to St. Joe's after 2 years at the University of Delaware. I love Delaware, but I think I love St. Joe's even more. I met a lot of good people at St. Joe's. I came to St. Joe's, obviously, when probably the biggest change in program history happened when they fired Phil.
Yeah.
But, I love St. Joe's. I love St. Joe's. I love the people here. My favorite moments, I think beating UConn on the road was pretty fun for the team.
and just playing in the Palestra again after not playing there for a few years from high school. And then just getting to know everyone. I dealt with 2 different staffs and basically 2 completely different rosters. So I've met a lot of people at St. Joe's, and I really like everyone I've met, and it's been a great place for me.
Well, you touched on a couple of things, which you and I intersecting your dad, man. When you're talking about this stuff, man, I'm smiling because, Ryan, I remember at the Palestra, man, throwing down some dunks on University of Pennsylvania, playing against Villanova, playing against Temple.
Yep.
And then you talk about Connecticut. I went to the UConn tournament, I think it was my sophomore year, man. And UConn had recruited me. And I chose St. Joe's. And so I remember when UConn's coach came in and was talking to Coach Boyle, your granddad. And in that game against UConn, man, I threw a dunk down coming down the middle on those guys. And everybody in the place was like, whoa. Man, you're touching on some stuff there. And I remember that stuff. So I'm glad you got a chance to experience all those things, Ryan. Those are some great career moments, man. So tell me,
great memories.
You declared for the NBA draft, man. What is that like to declare for the NBA draft? Tell people here what it means to make a decision like that.
Yeah, so it's a process where you meet with your family or your circle, and then you talk to your coaching staff, and you can fully declare, and you can sign with an agent, which means you forego your eligibility, or you can sign with an NCAA certified agency, which I did. There's only about 24 of those nationally. So they make it harder than it needs to be, but it's an opt-out, so I signed with them. I've been fully expecting to stay. I've just been preparing myself because I think I'm always going to be a pro, but I do have the option to come back if I want to.
You know what? That's a great point. That's a great point. You said that you fully expect to be a pro, and that's what I'm waiting to hear from you, because I want to hear. Because I'm going to ask your dad if he thinks you're prepared, if you're ready. But you know what? What I would like to hear from someone who plays ball like I played ball is that I'm ready. I know it. I'm confident. Yeah. If you're not confident, bro, you know what I mean? You ain't getting it. Remember, the 12th guy on the NBA bench thinks he's Michael Jordan or LeBron James. He thinks he's just as good. And if you don't believe that, you're not going to get to the league. Now, I don't know if you know my son Daniel. Daniel was drafted by San Antonio. He went to Ryder out here in Jersey. And Daniel ended up playing in Argentina for a couple of years. And then he went to back to San Antonio and playing on their G League team. I saw Daniel playing against the Toronto Raptors 905 up here in Toronto against Siakam. Siakam was guarding tight, and Daniel was hungry, grabbing boards, man. So, I want your dad to experience that, man, and I want you to succeed. Listen, much respect, much love, man. What is your workout routine like? Please tell the kids up here what a workout routine is like for you, especially since you're going to be going up against men, essentially.
So obviously, I think the number one thing is just stay. Obviously, this coronavirus, I didn't really have the spring workouts after the season, so just staying in shape. I think that you can do stuff. You don't need a weight room to get stuff done. You can always do push-ups, body squats, running miles, sprinting up hills, and then all you need for basketball is just a ball and a hoop, basically. So if you have your own hoop, you have a driveway, you can do dribbling drills. You can do all that sort of stuff because basketball is the one thing where you don't need to be indoor. You can be outdoor. You can be anywhere as long as you have a ball and a hoop. Basically, I mean, me and my buddies put a milk crate up, and we burned the bottom of it. We made a hoop with that too. So we've been doing anything we can to get working right now.
Wow. Hey, man, I'm impressed with you. The milk crate. You brought the milk crate, bro? You're not living in North Philadelphia. You brought out the milk crate. I love it. You know what, man? I'm glad to hear that you're doing well and that you're getting prepared. You're going to make the league. And when you do, you come to Toronto, let me know. I'll bring you some home-cooked food, okay? I'll take care of you when you're up here, my brother. And just thank God for you, you know what I mean? I remember when your grandfather passed, and I don't like funerals, I don't do funerals, and I just drove back and forth for like 30 minutes outside the funeral parlor and the viewing, man. I couldn't go in, man. And I tell you what, your grandmom, she was just a doll. She loved all the players. You're coming from a family of people who love human beings. And Ryan, you know what, man, I tell you what, I really, and as a kid, playing at St. Joe's, you don't really appreciate it until you become a little bit older and wiser, and just I appreciate your grandfather so much more than your grandmom. So, and again, your mom and your dad are contemporaries of mine, but I tell you something, man, you come from a great family, son, and good luck to you, okay? Good luck to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Richard.
All right, have a good day. That was it, my friends. That was Ryan Daly, and calling from Philadelphia on the Richard Stewart Show. A great young man. NBA ready. Here he comes. Welcome back to the Richard Stewart Show. My name is Richard Stewart. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from Ryan Daly, a young man who declared for the NBA draft, a young man whose father I really respect. Grandfather gave me an opportunity to play at St. Joseph's University. Jim Boyle, just love Jim Boyle, and more importantly, love Tess Boyle. A lady, his wife, Jim Boyle's wife, who just treated all the basketball players at St. Joe's so well. And with both of them passing, God rest their souls, it hit a chord in my heart. As I said to you before, when Jim Boyle died, I don't do funerals well. It really affects me, and I drove up and down that street for 30 minutes outside the funeral home and the viewing, and I couldn't go in, but I drove up and down that street for 30 minutes because I respect and love Jim Boyle. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to introduce you to Bryan Daly, also coached at Penn State and Boston University, the father of Ryan Daly. Hello, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful day here in Toronto. How's Philadelphia?
Actually, it's bright and sunny today. Yesterday was a strange day. Rain, sun, pouring rain, then more sun. It was crazy. But today, everybody's out. It's just like a normal Memorial Day. I tried to go into one of these the Lowe's to get something, and the line was like a quarter mile long. I had to leave the store.
Okay.
Everybody's out.
Hey, let me ask you this. When did you introduce Ryan to basketball? What age did you start him out with?
Really young. I mean, I was coaching at the high school level when he was born, and I would take him to practice. I would take him with me to play when I was still playing, to play in tournaments. I'd take him in his car seat and have somebody watch him in the stands while I played. He actually started playing. It's kind of funny. In our parish, right, in the Northeast, in the United States, most people attribute themselves to the Catholic Church and parishes. So our parish was St. Denis, and they had a Little Hoopsters program. It was a co-ed program with boys and girls, started when they were 4 years old. And Ryan was already as competitive as he is now, and he couldn't understand. I made the mistake of repping one of the games, and I wouldn't call a walk on, some little girl just starting out that may run with the basketball, and he got so frustrated. I realized quickly that I probably had to move, so we moved him that next year when he was 5 to the Chester Biddy League, which is where Jameer Nelson played and a lot of kids played.
Yeah, Jameer Nelson starred. For the people here in Toronto to know, Jameer Nelson starred at the Orlando Magic, a great player out of St. Joseph's University. Him and Delonte West were the guys who went undefeated in the Atlantic 10, one of only 25 teams in NCAA history to go undefeated under Phil Martelli. Tell me something, though. You talk about his competitiveness and at a young age. How do you feel his game has developed, and how thrilled were you for him to be at St. Joe's? I mean, that must have been awesome for you, especially with your family history and his grandparents.
Yeah, his journey was unlike, I think, most people that have achieved the success he has in college.
Right.
He was always deemed too slow, not quick enough, not athletic enough. Yeah, he was competitive, but everybody looked over kind of his accomplishments because from an eyeball test, he didn't fit.
Right.
And he really didn't commit until 3 days before graduation of his senior year to the University of Delaware.
Right. And
he went on to have a great, first and second year. He was Rookie of the Year in the conference.
Yes.
He was All-League.
I saw that. Yep.
And what happened was he just wasn't happy with the school. He was having all sorts of success on the court, but he would find his way home 3 days a week. He just wasn't comfortable with the campus.
Wow.
He loved the program. He loved his coaches and his teammates, but something about him, it was too big. We kind of knew what kind of person he was. He liked a small, more intimate environment.
Like St. Joe's.
So when he, exactly.
Yeah.
So when he put his name in the transfer portal, actually there was no portal at that time, when he put his name into transfer, we didn't want to sway him, but not being his parents, we knew where he would thrive from a social aspect. Not forget about basketball. just from enjoying his college days. And even though some big-time programs came calling, he committed to St. Joe's, and we were thrilled.
Well, you know what, Brian? Again, you're educating folks. You know, you got to listen up America, got to listen up Canada. The man is talking about how comfortable a kid is off the basketball court, and that's important. A lot of kids hit the wall around November, maybe December, and they get what you call homesick. And they end up coming home and missing out on a great opportunity. So when Brian is talking about comfortability on the campus and being able to go to class and again, Ryan is a communications major. So you know, I mean, he has to be comfortable on that campus. Brian, let me ask you this: how was your days at Penn State compared to Boston University? Because I'm guessing Boston University is a Jesuit school. Penn State is a state-run school. What was the difference there, brother, from your coaching days there? Are those two different programs?
Well, I think so. Boston College is a Jesuit program. I was at Boston University, so that's a private, large campus. I tell you, it's a large university. Excuse me. It's significant difference, and I think the best way I could tell you is Boston is a lot like Philadelphia in the fact that it has a number of Division I basketball programs.
Sure.
Unlike Philadelphia, Boston is a pro city town.
Yes.
So we just didn't get a great fan following when we were at BU.
Okay.
I mean, we had success. We won the league. We went to the tournament.
I remember that.
Yeah. The first round.
Yep.
But so one day, I'll tell you. So we went to BU, and you know, we could walk down the street and be kind of anonymous. Nobody followed us. The first day I went to Penn State, I got there and I had to run into CVS. I needed some Tylenol or something ibuprofen. And I didn't have any change, so I just ran in, and I ran out, and there's a person, an officer giving me a ticket, a parking official giving me a ticket. And I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I just got here." And she looked up and she said, "Oh, Coach Daly, I didn't know that was you."
Wow!
And,
Wow!
And then didn't give me the ticket. So that was the biggest difference in that college. And I had just literally gotten there. They follow their college sports. That's really the heartbeat of at Penn State. I'll be honest with you, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I love the area, I love the school, and that was great.
You know something, Brian? I appreciate Penn State. Just like you're saying, I didn't know that part of it, that they followed you and they knew you that well as soon as you walked in that door. And that's amazing. That's an amazing experience. And a lot of Canadians don't understand that. What sport is to America and how people follow it in a sports town. I remember playing at Penn State, and I think it was my third year or something like that, and I went baseline and put down a dunk, and the Penn State fans cheered for me. And I was like, whoa, they appreciate stuff a little bit. And again, it's one of those experiences that people don't understand. Like, you have some relationship with guys in different teams, and you go to the parties with them and stuff. And it is a great time for us when we play basketball together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Bryan Daly and I played for St. Joseph's University. And just a funny side here, folks. A lot of people, when they heard that Bryan Daly was coming to our program, wanted to come on the program as well. His friend Ed McChrystal called me, Ed McChrystal, ready to tell Brian stories. Brian, I couldn't let him come on, brother. I couldn't let him come on.
Yeah, I think that was the smartest move you've ever made in broadcasting history.
Hey, I remember walking into Ed McChrystal's room, and ladies and gentlemen, Ed McChrystal was the 12th man on our bench. A good kid, funny kid. And I walked into his room and I said, "Oh my gosh, you sponsor Miller Lite or Miller Lite sponsors you? What's going on in here?" I mean, beer cans up to the windows, ladies and gentlemen. That kid drank a case a night. I was like, you know what? I'll leave the rest of the story out of it, those who don't understand. But I had to mention Ed McChrystal, and just St. Joe's was a great time. I was trying to. I didn't tell your son this, and I think you played at 2.25. I was being very generous. It's probably like 250 you play that, bro. So let's get that straight right there.
I don't know about that. I think I was 225. Was good.
You're 225.
The difference between him and I really is I was more of a forward, and he's a guard.
Yeah, he can handle the ball. He can handle the ball, and he has weight. He has weight, force, and strength. Your son has weight, force, strength, can shoot the ball, versatile. You know what? Changing direction, changing speed. He's going to work on that a bit from what I saw. But no, I mean, they said Larry Bird didn't have any jumping and all the other stuff, but intelligence and passion. So I'm not worried about your son. Listen, man, you must be proud. I am very, very, very proud to have you on my show. I'm glad for your son. My son Daniel got drafted by San Antonio, went to Argentina, and then played on the San Antonio G League team. I said to Ryan that when he comes to Toronto, he just lets me know he's going to make the league, and whenever whatever team he's on comes to play Toronto, I'll hook him up, get him some home-cooked meals, so he feels at home here. Love him, love your family, say hello to Tracy for me, your wife, and just love you guys, man, and I'm just grateful that you were able to come on the show today, my friend.
It was my pleasure. I was happy to anytime you can get on, Air Canada, right? You're the Canadian jumpman. I got to take full advantage of that.
You're the best. Listen, have a great Memorial weekend. Thanks to the veterans of your country for keeping this world a safe place. Thank you for your service. That's what Memorial Day is all about. Thank you, Bryan, for being on the show. Love you, man. Take care of yourself.
Love you. See you, pal.
All right, bud. Bryan Daly, ladies and gentlemen, and just a spirited discussion with a man from a family that I really respect, a great basketball player, and a Philly great, as you heard. Let's look at today's sponsor. What? Another sugary snack? Get out of here. No sugary snacks for kids. This program is unsullied by sugary snacks and sponsors who are trying to sell stuff to kids which are unhealthy. We're staying with healthy snacks, kids. Yeah. Hey, folks, welcome back. On the show, like I promised you, we have someone who has been out helping folks for a long time. And this lady I respect immensely. During this time, COVID-19 and what's going on throughout the world, and even before now, this young lady has been on the front lines, helping human beings around the world. And someone like that should be lauded and should be congratulated. And I want this program and you in America and Canada to get a chance to know Sandra Damota. Train her son in basketball. Her sons play hockey, basketball, and sports. And just wanted to have her on the program to give her perspective on what's happening today. Sandra, hi. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
long time.
You're welcome. Great for you to be here. All right, Sandra. Listen, we're going to have you on more than once because I think you have a lot to add to this program. But let me start out with this question. What made you want to help people? Because some people, like most frontline workers and most heroes, run toward danger. But most people run away. When they hear a gunshot, when they hear that someone is sick, they run the other way. What makes you want to run toward helping people?
Oh, man. What makes me want to run towards helping people? I think I was very fortunate to learn at a really young age that my purpose, no matter how much I tried to get away from helping people, you just get pushed back into it. And, I was fortunate enough at the time to realize that, maybe this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing, is helping people instead of trying to do something else. So I kind of just embraced it and grew with it. So I've been doing a lot of humanitarian work for quite a few years now. So
wonderful. Tell me, what is it like in your job? Describe what you do, how you prepare, clothing, inoculations, security when you go to some of these countries. Give our audience a quick description of what it takes to do this stuff logistically.
It was a lot of questions in one, and then writing an entire book on that, actually. So I don't know if I'm going to try to sum that up for you. Though.
Okay.
You're always kind of prepared. So I deploy at any time, really. So I've been deployed with 24 hours notice before. I've also been given 2 weeks notice, so you never really know how much notice. And because of that, you're mentally preparing constantly. And there's a lot of logistics that go into it. So you mentioned clothes. I mean, I've got so many bins of clothing for hot climate, cold climate, different kinds of pandemics, work boots if I'm building the hospital, and running shoes if I'm not. And it's really interesting. It's a lot. There's a lot of different things. That really depends on the emergency that you're going to, and that'll determine how you specifically prepare for it. But Pretty much you're prepared constantly. You never know when you're going to get that call.
You know what? I'm more impressed now. Like, I was impressed with you before, but I'm more impressed now. You're actually building a hospital. You're doing stuff. You're talented. My God. I said, oh, this is a lady with a kid. I train her kid. Oh, whatever. What? You're building hospitals? Wow. So you're talented.
You know what? It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, I work with a team of professionals from, different experts around the world, and doctors and surgeons and pharmacists and nurses. And no matter what your role is, when we hit the ground, everyone takes their hat off and they become a construction worker. We put that hospital together first. And then, within 24 hours we're open and everyone can kind of resume their regular roles. But it's a pretty interesting process for sure.
That's awesome to hear, and I want our audience to understand that a person like this, you walk by Sandra, you would not think, okay, this lady is this powerful, strong person that's doing all this stuff around the world. But I want you guys to understand, when you see this picture of Sandra, you see that lady right there, that's where it comes from. So when you're watching CNN and you're watching BBC or Global, and you see folks around the world helping, normal person like Sandra lives next door to you is exuding this much strength. So I'm really, really appreciate you doing this. Tell me something. When you come back from some of these places, how do you compartmentalize that? How do you de-stress in order to not forget the trauma, but how does your mind work when it comes to that? Do you go play hockey? Do you shoot baskets? Do you sit down with a counselor? Do you have a friend that you talk about this stuff that you see? How do you do that?
You know what? It's probably a combination of all of that. I think I've been doing this work for international work for over 15 years now, and in all honesty, it's not easy. It's not easy. You see some of the worst things you can possibly imagine, and you do actually have to carry that, and you have to work through that, and you have to come back to your regular life. And I think the most important piece in all of that is I try to be really honest with myself. So I don't ever lie to myself about how I'm feeling. If I'm not okay, I'm not okay. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to be okay and take whatever I need to get back there, right? So definitely a lot of the things that you mentioned, there's a lot of self-care involved. I've got, a bag that I call my traveling gym that comes with me. It's got a skipping rope. It's got some... some bands, some minor weights. If you have the ability to shoot some hoops, that's great too. Talk to anyone who's there. It's tough with that because there's very few people that really understand what it means and what it looks like to experience this kind of work.
I bet, yeah.
But one of the most important things I think when I come back is that I always schedule a counseling appointment.
Wow.
Regardless of how I'm feeling, good, bad, doesn't matter. I always schedule it, and I really need to maintain that mental health and that wellness, and that's always my first step when I get back.
That's powerful, Sandra. That's powerful, because even a guy like me who played basketball at a high level, and when the cheering stops and when that camaraderie and the teamwork stops, a lot of people don't understand why basketball players sometimes fall. Hockey players, football players, sports players, they don't do what you just said. And I just started doing that too, Sandra. I just started talking with someone about the things that I experience and the things that I need to keep myself well. And I'm just glad that you're sharing that with the audience, because again, people see you and they see the exterior. They don't understand what you go through when the lights go off, when you come out of your element. So I'm just glad that you shared that, and I'm sharing to the audience too that I do the same thing. I have someone that I speak with and to keep myself well. And on days you think you're doing great, and all of a sudden, you're not well. So I'm just so happy to hear you share that with the audience and being so honest, and you're helping people. And I hope my mission as well will help folks out there as well.
Absolutely.
You have children, and I've met the little rugrats, as I call them lovingly. Right. I love them. And how are they? And how are they coping with this time? Because they know with your job, you're a frontline worker. And to all those people out there who are running around, not protecting themselves, not coughing in their sleeves, not social distancing. How does it feel to be a frontline worker, and how does it affect your children? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's my kids are in a fortunate place where this is one of the major disasters that they're personally experiencing. But because I've been doing the work for since my oldest was 3, he's almost 18 now, and the other 2 have never known life without it, right? So they've always been exposed in some way to disasters, to pandemics, to emergencies, and things like that. And so they've always I guess they've always had the privilege of seeing that and seeing what that looks like, and I've never really shielded them from that. So
Sure.
I think in some ways it's helped them to prepare for this time now. With that being said, it's still really difficult. It's difficult. They're experiencing it like everyone else is experiencing it. Currently in my full-time position, I'm serving individuals in experiencing homelessness, and that's not easy. It's a lot of long hours, a lot of work, and I'm not seeing my kids as much as I would love to see them. I'm not seeing them as much as they would love to see me, and I'm not able to provide the same level of support that I normally would provide. And so, I think one of the really beautiful things is that because I've always done this work, I've created a very strong network, a very strong community around myself, and so they're able to benefit from that community and pull from the strength of that. And so they have a lot of love and support regardless of whether or not I'm here.
So you have a great support system for your children, and I hear, since I know Sandra, guys, and I hear the emotion in her voice. You may not know her. She's a tough cookie. She's not a wallflower, and I hear the emotion in her voice, and I'm not just doing it for your sake, but I care about Sandra, love her and her children. And I'll tell you something, social distance, do what you're supposed to do, because a woman like this does not need to be not with her children all the time. And, I just want to implore you out there to be safe and to understand and think about people like Sandra who are on the front lines taking care of people. And we just salute you and thank you for your service, Sandra. Hey, you know what? On another note here, let's change course a little bit. I've seen you shoot the basketball a little bit on Instagram and stuff. You cannot play basketball. Let me just say it to the audience. Sandra is not a good basketball player, so I don't know what she's doing with the basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Tell her to stick to hiking. Go, Sandra. What do you got to say about that? That's what I'm putting out there.
Like that. Maybe the last time I appear on your show. Listen, it's been a long time. All right, we've all lost some of our skills and abilities. All right.
Hey, speak for yourself.
I haven't seen you dunk, though.
Speak for yourself. I'm so surprised. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? We just love having her on the show. Hey, any advice you'd like to give anyone out there, Sandra, in terms of this time of year and in this season of life? I mean, self-help, anything that people can do, moms and people, dads out there. Any advice you'd like to give them before we leave here today?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everyone's kind of running around. If you see it on social media and you see it on TV and you hear about it with your group of friends, I mean, everyone is trying to be an expert in everything right now. We're homeschooling kids. We're all of a sudden, we're teachers. We're chefs. We're bakers. We're everything. And everyone's trying to have this image of perfection. And it's so bizarre to me, honestly. I think the best advice I can give is just to relax. Honestly, this is a really difficult time for everyone. It really, truly is. And, if you have the ability to kind of take on a new skill during this, it's great. But, don't put too much pressure on yourself, because we are not experts in everything, and we're never going to be experts in everything. So relax, enjoy a glass of wine, have a cup of coffee, sit back. If your kids aren't learning everything right now, that's okay. There's other lessons to be learned here, right? So I think the best advice I can give is to just, take it easy. Take it one step at a time. Be honest with yourself about what you're capable of right now and what you're not.
Wonderful, wonderful words of wisdom from Sandra Damota, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Sandra, for being on our show today. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you.
Sandra Damota, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Damota, and again, frontline workers, we thank you for your service to our community. Thank you for the service to our country and our world. The pressures and the strains that you go through are real. Balancing family, balancing time with your kids, hoping that your kids and your husbands and your wives are safe. Those are important things. And you know what we say here on Advanced Basketball? Little things turn into big things. God bless you.